When looking at this alkane, the first thing you want to do to try to find the IUPAC name for it is find the parent chain. And the parent chain is the longest chain of carbons. So if I were to count it, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be a 6-carbon chain. You know, if we look at this chart here, this chart is very important, so you can take a picture of this, but I'll be referencing it throughout the video, and this is very important to memorize. But 6 carbons, that's going to be hexane. So this molecule is going to be hexane. But if I were to draw something a little bit more complicated, and I would draw this, to try to find name it would be the same thing of find the largest parent chain. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's also important to note that I could have chose 4, 5 like this, or even done it in the opposite direction of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anywhere start, it would all be the same. So the parent chain would all be the same. It would all be 5 carbons long. And with this branch here. But what is this branch? Well, to name this branch, we first gotta count the carbons of it. And it's 1, 2 carbons. And if we look at this chart here, if there's 2 carbons, that's gonna be ethane. But since it's a substituent, it's gonna be called ethyl. So methane will be methyl, propane will be propyl. The point is that since it's substituent, you want to take away the A and E ending and add that YL ending. So going back to naming this, it will be, we first got C is on carbon number 3. So it will be 3 ethyl. And then the chain is 5 long, so that's going to be, if you look at this chart here, that's going to be pentane. So 3 ethyl pentane. Okay? Now, if I were to give you another example of this, when naming it, you want to find the largest parent chain. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 4. But notice how if I were to go over here and do 4 and then 5, that this one will be longer. So this is the parent chain. But it's also important to note that we can count it from the opposite side. So instead, if we counted from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it would also have 5 carbons in the parent chain. But the thing is, the first substituent is on carbon number 3 here, right? And on the top one, the first substituent is on carbon number 2. So this is going to be the way you want to count it, because you want that substituent to be on the earliest carbon, okay? So, but let's get back into naming. We see that there's a methyl group on carbon number 2 and a methyl group on carbon number 3. So when naming this, it will be 2, comma, wrong color, 2, comma, 3, dimethyl. And notice how we use di here. Since there's 2 methyls, it's di. And if there was 3 methyls, it would be tri. And then 4, it would be tetra. But since there's only 2, we use di. And then since there's 5 carbons here, it's going to be a pentane again. So in total, this is 2,3-dimethyl pentane. Okay, now if I were to draw another more complicated one and draw this, naming it, you want to find the largest carbon chain. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. But if you notice, if I go on the other side, 1, 2, 3, both substituents are on carbon number 3. So which one's correct, right? Do we go for this carbon number 3 or this one? Well, if we were to name the substituents, there's 1, 2 carbons here, so this is going to be an ethyl group. Since there's 1 carbon here, this is going to be a methyl group. priority actually comes through alphabetical order. So since this ethyl has an E, it obviously comes before the M. So this carbon number 3 has higher priority over this one. So let's show that. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And also notice that if we do this as our 7, it'd only be 7 long, and that's not the longest parent chain. So this one has to be an N with 8. And we see that 8 carbons, that's an octane. So we're ready to name this. We got all the information we need. So this is going to be 3 ethyl, and then 6 methyl, and then octane. So this is 3 ethyl, 6 methyl, octane. So if I were to draw another more complicated one, and I were to draw this, the naming would go about the same, where it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these Ipswich runs 1, and 1, and 1, and 2. Okay, so we got all the information we need, but you wouldn't go to dimethyl, because when writing the name for it, you always want to go in alphabetical order. So instead, since the ethyl is on carbon number 4, you start off with 4 and then do your ethyl. And then you do your 2, 2 dimethyl. And since it's a 7 carbon chain, we look at our chart, 7 carbon chain, that's a heptane. So we will draw or write out heptane. So in total, this is a 4 ethyl 2 dimethyl heptane. And that's all you need to know about naming alkanes. And thank you for watching.